Introduction. In a mid-century setting with buildings and walls to protect the city from intruders, four young heroes are contacted. Their mission? Fight off the enemies that attack Ferta City, with hundreds of anxious citizens hoping to preserve their lives. Meet the team of warriors who have trained and have become specialists, all in their own designated fields. They accept a more than fair payment in return for their services, beating up zombies, dark shades, skeletons, and green monsters who come at the city walls. Chapter 2. Four Warriors. A week later, the story takes us to a small village in the middle of nowhere, where a group of friends gathered in a deserted building. Four friends, four experts, trained in the ways of warfare against the dark, vile, ugly monsters of the vast lands, came together to discuss their desires. A messenger had arrived, and they agreed to meet each other in the said location. The four warriors were as distinct as the colors on the rainbow. Carson, Max, Olivia, and Alex had teamed up for several years, and their successes as mercenaries were well known, except to the mayor of Ferta City, of course. Carson was a zombie hunter. With his brown outfit, his big boots, and his blonde hair, he made a somewhat insensible impression. The death count by his hands was as impossible to keep track of as the chance to defeat him. He had a way with pickaxes, always finding the pleasure of hacking his weapon into a zombie and then pulling it out with force. He said it worked his muscles to do so. Occasionally, a sovereign in a city or village would require his services and hire him to slay the hordes and eliminate the threat of another outbreak. His sloppy, nonchalant ways were an annoyance to some people he did business with, but he always succeeded and got his payment. He knew some people would turn into zombies in the future, so he was usually cold and distant, making sure that he didn't care too much. Max, on the other hand, was a passionate guy. He had studied the ancient magical powers of dark shades and other creatures from the caves, and he could name and pinpoint every tiny detail in the behavior of a dark shade or monster. He had painted his hair black years ago, just to empathize with his enemies. Whenever a dark shade was spotted in a village, people would ask for his expertise. He would arrive, find traces, and track down the teleportation patterns of these dark creatures. And although he had a certain respect for all life, especially for these fascinating monsters, he never hesitated to go for the kill with his diamond sword. He stood there in his black shirt and dark blue pants, hoping to get something out of this meeting, like everyone else. And then there was Olivia, the only girl in the group. The others sometimes wondered what attracted this long-haired brunette to the mercenary business. But she had explained multiple times that her dad had become a necromancer after her mother died. His grief over her death made him turn to the magical ways of reviving the dead, but he had never succeeded. On the contrary, the skeletons he revived turned against him. Eventually he accepted the fact that skeletons would never be on their side. Whatever was resurrected turned out to be evil. And with that background, he trained his daughter to fight the undead skeletons that would cross their paths. After his death, and being orphaned at age 18, she had decided to make it her way of life, and started working as a skeleton killer. Needless to say that she had enough work, since skeletons popped up all across the country. Olivia was a little mysterious. She had never felt attracted to the guys in her group, and none of them were sure what her goals were in life, but they were good friends nonetheless. The last group member was Alex, who started out as an alchemist and experimental inventor, but as he discovered the powerful way explosive monsters made the lands unsafe with their explosive habits, he slowly but certainly decided to find ways to stop them. He knew exactly where to strike when it came to blowing up monsters with explosive powder. He was able to redirect electricity from lightning bolts, and sometimes this loner was misunderstood for anything less than a genius. Alex was wearing a gray and red outfit and leaned on his axe, one of his favorite weapons to kill the disturbing creatures wherever they would appear. And there they were, the 4 young warriors standing in front of the messenger from Ferda City. "Speak up," Carson said. "I have more things to do." "Just let the guy talk," Olivia said. "Well, first of all, thank you for coming here," the messenger said. "In Ferda City, there's a prediction about its destruction. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. But all we know is that 4 different enemies are supposed to come from 4 different directions, and that the people are afraid. We want to hire you to make sure they get a feeling of security, even if there is not threat." "So you want us to show up even though there may not be an enemy to fight?" Carson asked. "Exactly." "Well, it's still our time, so the regular rate should do," Alex said. "I expected nothing less," the messenger said with a smile. "Will you do it?" The 4 mercenaries looked at each other and then nodded. "Yes, of course," they said. "Good. Then I will give them a report about our agreement. I will see you there in 3 days, okay?" "No problem," Olivia said. The messenger left. The 4 got together and talked. "What if we end up just sitting there waiting around?" Max asked. "That would be a waste of time." "Not really," Carson said. "We'd still get paid." "But it's boring," Max said. "Don't worry about it, Max," Olivia said. "We'll just go, see if there is anything there, and when the dates of the prediction are over, we'll accept our payment and get out of there." "Where are we going to stand guard?" Max asked. Each one should stand on a different corner of the city, of course," Alex said. "If any enemy shows up, at least one of us will know about it." Chapter 3: Zombie Horde. The group hiked towards Ferta City and arrived. After walking past the city walls, they headed straight to the mayor's office in the city hall. The mayor greeted them and told them about the uproar in the city. "Everyone is going crazy," he said. "The prophecy says it's supposed to happen tomorrow. If you could just stand guard on the 4 corners of this city, the people would see that I am doing what I can to protect them." "No problem," Carson added. "Yep," Alex added. "You said you would pay us, so we'll be here until the time runs out in a few days." "Splendid," the mayor said. "I will show you where to go." The 4 warriors followed the mayor to the 4 parts of town where the city walls had a tower on each corner. Since the 4 young heroes didn't even know where the enemies were going to come from, they split up. The mayor put archers on each tower to back them up a little bit, and provide them at least some assistance in case monsters would appear. Carson went to the west tower and started talking to the guards. "Have you ever been attacked by enemies from the forest?" he asked. "Never," was the answer. "Well, let's hope for you guys that it won't happen then," Carson said. "Oh, don't worry about our skills," the guard said. "We have trained enough to understand that it won't be easy if we do get attacked." "Training isn't everything," Carson said. "Zombies are disgusting, vile creatures. They're crazy. They won't stop for anything, and they will even sacrifice themselves if they have to." The day of the prediction came. The time was ripe. It was now or never. If the day would pass without an appearance of any enemies, it would be more likely that the whole prediction was a fake. But it wasn't. Carson looked at the forests on the horizon. There was movement. He sensed it. It was big. It was to be taken seriously. And it was fast. "There," Carson said, pointing out the rustling leaves and leaking branches in the distance. The guards looked and held their bows and arrows ready. A horde of zombies came closer and closer. There were hundreds of them. "Shoot already," Carson ordered the guards. "They won't stop. What are you waiting for?" The guards fired their bows and hit some of the zombies, who fell down and got stepped on by the ones behind them. Filthy, slobbering zombies with ripped skin and broken limbs ran, in their own twisted way, towards the city walls. Carson looked at what was happening. It didn't go fast enough. The zombies would reach the walls within minutes at this speed. Something had to be done to hold them off. You, and you, he commanded. Go warn the others. 3 guards set out to warn Carson's friends, while Carson descended down the ladder and went outside the city walls. He pulled the 2 pickaxes from the holsters on his back and walked towards the approaching horde of zombies. Time for some action, he said calmly but determined. After some time, he increased his pace and ran towards the zombies by himself. Gah! He yelled, sprinting at the horde and slashing through a dozen zombies. The horde came at him. Zombies aren't that smart. They go for the closest prey when they can. Carson knew this, and bought the city some time until his warrior friends would arrive. The guards were still shooting arrows at the horde, killing the occasional zombie, as they watched in amazement how Carson aggressively and precisely sliced and diced his way through the mass. That guy is awesome, one of the guards commented when he saw Carson chop off another head. He must have killed at least 100 by now, another guard said, watching Carson pull the sharp pickaxe out of a dead zombie and immediately throwing it into another one. He ran towards his victim and in one jump flipped through the air, picked up the pickaxe, and moved it sideways to have another zombie run into his weapon. Wow, the first guard said as he shot another arrow. Carson kept fighting, and after some time his 3 friends arrived at the scene. They ran towards the battlefield in front of the city and helped Carson kill off all the zombies. Glad you could make it, Carson said as he panted heavily and kept fighting. Doesn't seem like much of a challenge, Olivia said as she stabbed a zombie. We're almost done here, Alex said. He swung his axe towards a dirty zombie coming at him and knocked the undead creature to the ground. Not much later, the 4 leaned on their weapons with a satisfied look, watching the bloodbath they just caused. The zombie corpses were all over the field, defeated by the fighting friends, chanceless to become victorious. Piece of cake, Carson said as he wiped the blood off his face. Let's get cleaned up. Chapter 4, Dark Shade Army. Well done, the mayor shouted as he came running at the team who just defeated the zombie horde. You are amazing! I have never seen anyone fight like that. Thanks, Alex said. Carson shrugged. He pulled one of his pickaxes from a corpse and stuck the 2 weapons back on his back. Let me escort you to the city and we will have a celebration, the mayor said. They followed the mayor and got welcomed by a crowd of cheering citizens. The warriors were used to it, though. They had waged war against so many dark creatures that it wasn't even new anymore. Nevertheless, they embraced the warm welcome and joined some of the citizens to a tavern to eat and drink. The locals thanked them extravagantly and asked them all kinds of questions about where they came from, how long they had been fighting, and how they became so good at it. After the celebration, Olivia and Alex went to bed, but Carson and Max stayed up. They stayed at the tavern, with people leaving one at a time as the evening fell. Something is wrong, Max said. What? Carson asked. Aren't the next attacks going to come within the next few days? Yeah, so? They're here, Max said as he looked behind him. Who's here? Carson asked. The dark shades. I can sense it. How do you know? I just do. Trust me, Max said. Well, what do you want me to do? I don't know what you're talking about. Follow me. We're going to track them down. Max jumped off his chair and headed outside. Carson followed him and went into the vast darkness of the night. The duo turned around the corners of a few streets and then stopped. Hold it, Max said. They stopped. Max bent over and put his pointing finger and thumb together, rubbing some dust from the ground between his fingers. He sniffed the substance he just grabbed and let it glide through his fingers. Then he stood up and said, A dark shade has teleported over here. They sent out a spy. Really? Carson asked. Zombies never do that. Zombies are idiots, Max said. Dark Shades plan their attacks carefully. They are strategists. We have to prevent them from attacking the city by beating them to the punch. How are we going to do that? By following this Dark Shades pattern, we'll be able to find out where they're hiding. Once we get there, we'll make sure they won't even get close. Okay. Where do you think he went? There, Max answered. See that dust on the walls? That's where he went. If you say so, I never understand those creatures, Carson said. They ran towards the dust and looked for more clues. There, Max said again. It's easy once you get it. He teleported from there to here, and from here to back there. Whatever, Carson said, complaining a little that Max made it sound too simple in his eyes. It went on like this for another hour. The two warriors followed the pattern Max claimed the Dark Shade had set. They ran from the one place to the other, zigzagging through the city and eventually outside the city walls. Through the surrounding fields, the same actions occurred. Max ran from one spot to another, and they both ended up in the forest. Shh, Max said. I didn't say anything, Carson sneered. Now you did. Shh, be quiet. They're over there. Carson was boiling up inside. It was almost like Max was trying to sound smarter by following these sophisticated Dark Shades. But then he saw it too. In the middle of the forest, a group of about 100 Dark Shades had gathered themselves into a meeting. The two mercenaries couldn't understand what they were saying in their Ender language, but it was obvious that they were planning an attack. This is too easy, Max said. Would you stop saying that it's easy? Carson asked. What are we going to do? Oh, please. I have fought 1,000 of these Dark Shades, and I can tell you now that we can get rid of them easily. Right here, right now. Oh yeah? How? Burn them. What? You must be crazy. They'll teleport out of here, Carson said. No, they won't. They can only teleport so far, and by the time they find out about the fire, it will already be too late. But what if the fire spreads to the city? It won't. Believe me, the fields are so wide, and there are clouds over there. It's going to rain. We have to do it fast. All right, then. How do we start a fire? With these stones, Max said, pulling a few flints out of his pocket. Do you always carry that stuff around? Carson asked. Of course. Like I said, I have killed thousands of Dark Shades. It's not the first time I killed them by burning the forest. Okay. I hope you know what you're doing. Max and Carson went into the forest, farther away from the group of Dark Shades. Max put the flints together and created a small fire within minutes. He blew at it, added some wood, and made it burn even brighter. Then he grabbed a stick, held it in the fire, and made a torch that way. He looked at Carson and smirked. There is no way back, he said, after which he lit up the bushes and a few small trees. Let's get out of here, Max said. They ran back to Ferda City and watched from the tower as the woods burned to the ground. It looks pretty awesome, Carson said. It does. Want to have some Dark Shade barbecue? Max asked. But before Carson could respond, the mayor had climbed up on the tower. What is going on here? He asked. Someone yelled me out of my bed in the middle of the night to tell me you two were burning the forest down. Why are you up here watching it going on without doing something about it? I demand an explanation. We just defeated the Second Army, Max said. That forest was full of Dark Shades who were planning to attack the city in the morning. Oh, the mayor simply said. That changes things. How did you know they were there? I followed one of their teleporting patterns and found their hideout, Max said. Followed their... Okay, the mayor said. Interesting. I will leave you two alone. He climbed down the ladder and went back to bed. It started to rain. Max and Carson were still on the tower. They didn't feel like going to sleep. For some reason, they had tons of energy. Chapter 5, Skeleton Legion. The next morning it was still raining. Olivia got up and looked out the window. "Ugh," she said. "Such awful weather. I hope nothing will happen today. Oh well, let's just get ready and see what there is." She stepped out of bed, got dressed, and put her sword in its sheath. Hurrying through the pouring rain, she found her way to the tower they agreed to be at and greeted the guards. "Good morning, madam," they said. "Please call me Olivia. I am not old enough to be called madam." "No problem." "Where are the others?" Olivia asked. "Alex went to the northern tower," the guard said. "And the other two are somewhere else, probably sleeping. Did you hear what they did last night?" "I have no idea," Olivia said. "Enlighten me." "They burned down the forest to kill the dark shades that were in there." "Wow," Olivia said. "Talk about taking matters into their own hands. They could have warned me. But then again, I am happy I was able to sleep." "I wouldn't complain," the guard said. "We stayed up all night. I'm ready for bed." "You guys are dismissed," Olivia said. "What? But what if another enemy shows up?" "Excuse you? Have you even heard of our victories in other cities? I can easily do this by myself, thank you very much. Nothing personal, but you probably haven't seen me in action, have you?" No, madam." "Olivia." "Sorry. No, Olivia, we haven't." "Well, let me assure you that the city is in safe hands. You have nothing to worry about. Now just go home and get your rest." "Oh, okay. And what do we tell the mayor?" "Refer him to me if anyone has a complaint. I can handle it." The guards were amazed at this young woman's confidence, but they obeyed anyway, trusting that she had the skills necessary to defend the tower and the city wall. It began to rain even more. Big drops fell from the skies and filled up the ditches in the fields. Big puddles and small mud pools came to a temporary existence. It was a mess. And when Olivia leaned on the tower railing, she doubted anyone or anything would attack the city in this weather. But she was wrong. Through the foggy wetness, she suddenly noticed some dots on the horizon. "Skeletons," she mumbled. "Nothing else moves the way they do." She waited and took her time, taking a carrot out of her mouth and taking a big bite. As she chewed, she laconically laughed, watching the skeletons come nearer and multiply along the way. "Only a few hundred?" she said confidently. "Is that all they've got? How do they expect to destroy the city if there are only a few of them?" Pfft. She took another bite and looked at the skeletons, which were only a few miles away now, but it didn't look like they were getting close very quickly. They were struggling in the mud. Their thin legs got stuck and even broke sometimes, leaving the odd one behind and slowly decreasing in number as they approached the fields in front of the city walls. "Ha! Even easier," Olivia said. She finished her carrot and slid down the ladder. "Time for a mud party," she said. Then she ran to the field, faster and faster, until she was sprinting, splashing in the wet grass and getting ready for the big dive. "Whee!" she shouted joyfully, as she dove into their direction and slid forward on her stomach. She didn't stop sliding for another 100 feet, ending up in a big quagmire. "Come and get me, ugly skeletons," she said, pulling her sword out of its sheath. The few hundred skeletons came at her, but since she was standing in a deep pool of mud, they had a difficult time getting to her. Some of them fell, others slipped, and most of them slowly stepped forward but took forever to reach her. Meanwhile, the rainstorm became even heavier. The sky was almost pitch black, with the random lightning flash ornamenting the heavens. Olivia was hardly visible, being covered in mud and surrounded by skeletons. She waited and waited. The withered skeletons came closer, holding swords and axes. She still waited. Then, out of the blue, she kicked up some mud. Splash! The mud ended up in the faces of 3 skeletons in front of her. She pretended not to see the ones behind her, but suddenly turned around and stabbed 2 of them. The skeletons fell dead, while others tripped and came down head first. "Time for some fun," Olivia said. She took a few big steps and slid forward on her knees, holding her sword sideways and cutting 10 skeletons' legs off. She maneuvered around some other ones and chopped their heads off. The darkness made Olivia and the skeletons so hard to recognize that several skeletons stabbed each other on accident. Olivia killed a few more skeletons and then dove into the mud. The puddle had become so enormous that it was possible to swim in. She swam around some skeletons and attacked them from behind. The others ran towards her and drowned in the puddle, unable to release themselves from the thick, black sludge that was sucking them into the ground. The soil was drenched, and Olivia took advantage of it. She evaded every attempt to hit her, slid through the mud, dove under, tackled skeletons, and defeated every skeleton in the army in one way or another. It was still pouring rain, but she was the only one left standing. Her outfit was ruined, but she didn't care. She walked back to the city, reached the inn, and took a bath. "Ah," she said when she stepped into the water. "Finally clean. This is great." Chapter 6, Monster Mass. The day after, Alex woke up and looked outside. "Is it still raining?" he asked himself. "This is ridiculous. We haven't had weather like this for years." He got up, put some clothes on, and went outside. There he met the others. "Did you hear of Olivia's killing spree?" Carson asked. "No, not really. What happened?" Alex asked. "She used the mud to her advantage. All the skeletons drowned, slipped, or accidentally stabbed each other. It was quite the story." "It was super easy," Olivia said. "Don't mention it." "Yeah, and now it's still raining," Max said. "I wonder if that is part of the prediction as well. Terrible weather." "Well, we'll just have to use it to our advantage again," Alex said. "Which tower hasn't seen any monsters yet?" "The East Tower," Carson said. "So I suggest we all go over there, since they probably won't come from any other direction anyway." "Let's go," Alex said. They all walked to the East Tower and climbed up, standing guard for hours, overviewing the empty grass fields outside the city walls, which were quickly filling up with water as the rain kept coming. They were bored, very bored. They just didn't have anything to say each other, feeling a little blah because of the rain and the gray sky. But still, they kept viewing the horizon for a possible enemy. And even though such an appearance would reduce their chances to live and cause the risk of death, they would rather do anything else than just waiting there. "I think I see something," Olivia said after some time. "There, see?" They all looked. "Made you look," Olivia said. "Ha ha ha!" The guys didn't say anything. The three guys looked at her with a serious face, raising one eyebrow as if to say, it wasn't that funny. "What?" Olivia asked. "Oh, fine, be that way." "I see something too," Max suddenly said. "Sure," Alex said. "This joke is getting a little old, dude." "No, really, don't you see it? It's right there." By now, all the warriors were looking. There really was something there. Alex pulled something out of his pocket that looked like a magnifying glass or binoculars of some sort. He looked through it and said, "Those are explosive monsters." The others looked at him. "Neat little device you have there," Max commented. "You could see what they were through there, huh?" "Exactly," Alex said. "And I have another idea, too." The others listened intently. "It is at the inn, but basically what it does is it puts electricity through a wire from a distance. I've been experimenting with it, and it works. All I have to do is install it." "And what does that do?" Max asked. "Well, if we can force a current through the cords, it can affect that entire pool over there." Alex pointed at a water pool shaped by the many drops of rain in the previous 2 days. The others looked at it and started to get it. "Ah, you are too smart for this world, Alex," Olivia said after a while. "Thanks," Alex said. "Stay here. I'll arrange the entire thing. I'm going to the inn to get that device and put it out there. You guys won't have to do anything." "Sounds good to me," Carson said. "We'll just watch you go to work." Alex climbed down the ladder and hurried to the inn to get his device. He ran towards the grass fields and looked up at the hill. Hundreds of monsters had gathered themselves by now, standing at the top of the hill, ready for the leader's signal to run down and make the city explode into a million pieces. "Holy guacamole!" Alex said, realizing that he had never seen so many of those destructive monsters at the same time. "This better work or we're all dead." He went to the pool and installed the device in the soil. Then he unrolled the cord attached to it and ran back to Ferda City. He climbed up and joined his friends on the tower. "So now what?" Carson asked. "We just have to wait until they reach that pool. They're going to run through it, and at that moment, I'm going to run electricity through them. Green monsters explode when they are charged with power. So by doing that, they'll explode before they even reach the city walls." "Sounds good in theory," Carson admitted. "Let's see if it works." "It just has to work," Alex said. "Oh, there they come. Okay, let's wait. Wait. Almost there. Now!" As hundreds of vicious monsters were running through the pool on their way to the city, Alex hit the button on his remote. The device on the grass field got charged, and electricity was running through the whole cord, causing the pool to become electrically charged as well. Zap! The monsters all stood still for a few seconds and shook a little. "Aren't they supposed to explode?" Olivia asked, a little worried that it didn't work. "Just wait," Alex said with a smile. "It worked. It's only a matter of seconds now." The monsters kept on moving closer, running towards the city walls, but lit up like disco lights, flashing blue and yellow rapidly. And then it happened. Boom! 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 Most of the monsters exploded at the same time, but some of them were a little late. It was a symphony of explosions, almost like a celebration or war zone, but within 10 seconds they all exploded, some of them triggering others, and all of them ending up dead and in pieces on the grass soil. "Woo! That was awesome!" the 3 mercenaries cheered. Thank you," Alex said. After a little celebration, Max looked at the others and said, "I guess that was it then, wasn't it? This was the last group of enemies. We should collect our payment and get out of here." "Sure, let's do that," Olivia agreed. "Let's go." This has been Enemies at the Gate, 4 Warriors and Their Nemesis, Adventure Stories for Kids. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Production copyright 2018 by Jeff Child.